Hi everyone, meteorologist Aaron Tuttle here with you. Let's go ahead and get this microphone over here so you can hear me better. Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle here with you. Time to talk about the snowfall out there, and we've talked about how you got to be within that 48-hour window to really start to see, let's just say, some semi-accurate snowfall estimates from the computer models. So that's what we're going to be doing here this evening, is taking a closer look at those, and can show you where the bulk of the snow is going to fall, how much you can expect near your neck of the woods, and whether or not you think it's going to be enough to cancel school or classes or anything like that. So we'll break all that stuff down here for you. Give a few more seconds here for more people to tune on in. Once again, I want to thank you for joining me here at AT's Weather. And as always, watching for the last, we've done, I think, 5 of these now over the last 10 days to talk about the storm system. So it's fun. I enjoy talking about the winter weather, and as I said, I'm a kid at heart, so if there's a chance for snow, by golly, I'm going to root for it, and I'm going to let you know what I see. So before we get into the snow, let's talk real quick about the cold, and that'll be the first map that we actually talk about here this evening. Okay, so we've got temperatures plotted on the screen for you for tomorrow. This is going to be, tomorrow afternoon, so during the what you would call the heat of the day, if you will. So temperatures here across central Oklahoma are going to be in the mid-20s. Probably some teens up here in the far western panhandle. So not terribly brutally cold as far as Arctic air masses are concerned. It could always be worse. But it's going to be quite chilly tomorrow, so keep that in mind. Also on Friday, we really don't warm up any. As a matter of fact, we should get just a little bit cooler in general terms, just because we're going to have that precipitation around. So more of the state will see the 20s rather than tomorrow, where a few of you will still get some 30s in the southeast. So tomorrow, pretty much statewide, we're looking at 20s. So we've got 25 here in central Oklahoma, 23, 24 up around Tulsa, 27 down in southwest Oklahoma. And then the real cold air, I guess, settles in, if you will, is going to be Saturday morning. So let's take a look here Saturday morning, and this is where it gets a little tricky depending which model you look at, because they've kind of been all over the place with the readings. We're going to have very light winds, and with snowpack we have on the ground should help to let those numbers fall a little bit more. So for example, and this is a readout, some of you can see it there behind me, but that says 12 degrees, for example, in Canadian County, but it has the official temperature in Oklahoma City of 20. Now, of course, that's a huge discrepancy in numbers. If you go a little bit further west, then that's 9 degrees. So I still think we're going to have a lot of single digits intermixed, mostly teens for Saturday mornings. That will be the coldest period that we'll see. Now, let's see. Let's talk about what you really want to know, and that's the snow. So where the timeline for this is going to be associated with the most lift in the atmosphere. So this map here shows the vertical velocities at 700 millibars. This is where the moisture comes in, where we've got the lift that's starting to take shape. In this time period, starting here where you see these gray areas in central and western Oklahoma out toward the panhandle, that's roughly about 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. So that's where we got the most lift and the most concentrated humidity values right over our region. So that's where we start to see that snow coming down. As we go through time, into midnight and then Friday morning, we kind of had the bulk of it during that period of time. As we go into the afternoon, it kind of dries out a little bit more as more of that Arctic air builds in from the north. And you can see that with this dark blue shading that's coming on in. So basically this whole region here is the leading edge of some very dry Arctic air that's coming in. So in other words, this weather event is going to be very short. It's not going to last very long at all, and then it's going to get out of here. And once that happens, well, it's just clear skies, and whatever snow we had is all we're going to get. Now, because the system is very dry as far as the general air mass that we have in place, snowfall ratios will be around 15 to 1. So this is a look at that right here in the orange shading. So this orange, all across central, western, eastern Oklahoma, indicates between 15 and 20 on the ratio to 1. So what that means is, for example, if you had, if we make this real easy, if you had 1 inch of rainfall, that would basically be equivalent to 15 inches of snow. Okay, or if we had 0.1 inches of rainfall, that's basically 1.5 inches of snow, which is more likely what we're going to be seeing. So just kind of give you an idea of what we have to work with. So let's get down to the business of when it's going to start. So this is a high-res model that goes out a little long ways, and it's going to show some light snow already ongoing in the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma by tomorrow evening, just after 6 o'clock. Now that round of snow will continue to move eastward as we head toward the midnight hour. Let me see if I can zoom in this a little bit more for you. So there you go. Getting you an idea that we've got a streak of good snow stretching from northwest to southeast Oklahoma here in the metro. And that moves on through overnight while most of you sleep. So we'll get the bulk of our snow accumulations in the overnight hours. Now this is coming up, what time is this? Almost getting toward daybreak. And that starts to move off to the east. And when that does so, let's see, let's go back one more. Yeah, doesn't go any further than this, it goes one more. Okay, so that's the farthest it goes in time, furthest in time I should say. So that's about 3 a.m. on Friday. So by 3 a.m. on Friday, the heavy bulk of this stuff, with all that lift we talked about, is already starting to move into the eastern half of the state. So that's why I say that most of the snow we're going to see will happen before many of you even wake up. Now, what are the models saying now? We'll show you a few of them. This is the Canadian model, and it's got snowfall amounts, well, a little carried away. It's got a very thin band of some ridiculous numbers in southeast Oklahoma. I don't buy that one. I'm going to kind of discard that. But the general trend is to show a band, a very thin band, west to east, and then higher amounts out here in the Panhandle region. So all that is par for the course. That's kind of what we're going to be seeing here with all of these model outputs. So now we'll go into some of our high resolution models. This is the NAM short range, and it's got basically an inch over central Oklahoma here in the metro, back to where you get some of these blue areas up to around 2.5, maybe 3 inches out toward the state line in southwest Oklahoma. Okay, and here in the metro, it's like basically it's a wild swing from the west side 1.5 inches to the east side, you know, basically a dusting. Now that'll be the common theme you're going to see with these high resolution models. So here's another one coming in. This is the 4-kilometer version with a dry snow ratio in effect, and that's got, look how thin this band is. I mean, it's roughly, if you could picture I-40, it's just kind of on the south end of I-40, running east to west, and then higher amounts of, once again, out here in western Oklahoma. So that'll be the trend like we talked about. In here in the metro, man, it's got actually nothing in the north side of town, and then some snow in the south side. Now, we're going to go, let me see, before we do that one, let's do this one. Alright, snowfall totals on this guy here is very similar to that high resolution model, because it's actually even a higher resolution that they're beta testing right now. And for example, it's got 0.2 here in central Oklahoma, and let's see here, for the metro, 0.2 inches of snow, it's not very much. And then down here across the southern end of the metro, it's got about 1 inch, and once you head out west, it goes to 2 inches, and there's a spot, looks like, of 3 inches in parts of west central Oklahoma. So you can kind of see where the trend is going here. Let's see, now let's do this guy here. Now this is a very short-term model extended outwards, long beyond what it's typically designed for. And it hasn't been used for snow in this fashion except for just now. So I do not know how much credit to give it, but it is saying 4 to 6 inches of snow here in southwest Oklahoma. This is the only model going this high. And I doubt that because there's not a whole lot of moisture work with number one. Number two, we just don't have a whole lot of time. It's basically a 12-hour window, and that's a stretch, at least for the heavier parts. But hey, if this is what turns out, we wake up in the early morning hours and that's how much fell out there, I'd be surprised, but it would be the only model to say so. Now, if that's the case, I'd start paying attention to it more often. So those are some of the two-dimensional plots we can give you across the state to kind of give you an idea what happens when you go from one side of the metro in these models to the other. Here's north side of Edmond, where it's got a 0.2 inches of snow. South side down around Moore, it's got 1.6. Norman looks like 1.7. Tuttle 1.8. Same with around Newcastle. El Reno Reno 1.5 inch. Union City 2 inches, and down toward Carnegie you got 3 inches. So you can see a very sharp gradient. Now this is all assuming that this storm system doesn't change track any, and this little band stays exactly where the models predict. Now you know as well as I do, these bands can just move just a little bit. And we're talking a difference of what, 10, 15 miles across Oklahoma County from where you get nothing, basically a dusting, to 1.5 inches. That's a huge gradient change. So just kind of give you an idea, you're going to have to give a little leeway here. If you wake up and you get more than expected, or if you get a little less than expected, it's just because that band moved around a bit. So back to this model. We're going to look at the short-term ensemble model plot. So we talked about this last couple of days. You kind of take the same short-term version of the equations, and then you nudge them different directions with different variables, and you come out with different solutions. And you kind of see where they're kind of clustering toward. So in this particular case, we've got this black line indicates the median value. This is in Oklahoma City, and it says 1 inch of snow. Some of these outliers up here at the top are 3.5 inches of snow. Then again, some of the outliers at the bottom are 1/10 of an inch of snow, barely even measurable, basically a dusting. So typically what you do is you throw away the outliers, the statistical outliers, and you stick with what's in the median. But it's a pretty large median. It's not exactly a great bell curve for an example here. So according to this model, it's got the potential to go anywhere from flurry to 3.5 inches and somewhere else in between. That's not very helpful as far as guidance goes, but it gives you an idea. If this is tracking that little band, this is just one point, one grid point in that band, as each of these runs go around, it may just be moving that band north and south, and therefore it's giving these wild swings in how much you can get. Some of the other models out there, they've got, these are operational runs, and they show anywhere from, let's see, there's a 1/2 inch to an inch to 1.5 inches, 2 inches. There's one that ran, let's see, around 18, so noon today, it had 2.5 inches of snow. So even some of the operational runs, which are not ensemble, just this is the run, this is the solution, this is what you get, even those guys vary. So kind of give you an idea that even though we've looked at a lot of high resolution models, they all kind of say the same thing. And that is, the gist is I-40 corridor, plus or minus a few miles on each side, likely on the southern side of it is where you're going to get the corridor of 1 to 3 inches of snow, and that stretches on back out to western Oklahoma, where you're likely to get maybe 3.5 up toward the border of the state line, and then 3.5, 4 likely in the Texas Panhandle and Amarillo. So that is the way the storm system is looking for tonight. So again, we're within the 48-hour window of model estimations. So in theory, these snowfall projections should be much more accurate, at least giving you a sense of the idea. Now, if you watch me enough, you know that I've told you in the past that you cannot predict snowfall totals to the exact amount in your backyard. It will never happen. Just know that. So even when we're giving you a range from 1 to 3 inches, that's why it's such a large range, because you can get 1.2, your neighbor could get 1.75. You know, it's that kind of ridiculousness. Now, can you build a snowman? No. Will it cause travel problems? The broad sense of the equation, no. Only because we talked about how dry the atmosphere is, that 15:1 ratio. That means it's very powdery, very light, airy. So it'll blow away in the wind. Most of it will blow off the roads. Ground temperatures are already pretty much below freezing, so that's not going to be a problem. Not going to be a whole lot of melting there. So I do not expect any crazy commute issues across the state Thursday night and Friday morning. But, you know, as always, you be careful around the bridges. Pull up your Google Maps on your phone, and if you see the turning red, well, either there's some accidents or everybody's driving slow based off of GPS estimated speeds. So that's kind of another way to kind of guide you as you head on out the door in the morning on Friday for work and or school, whoever's going to school now. Probably, I think, everybody. So in that case, you're going to have to deal with that. So that is the latest on the snowfall here. Glad you guys could join me here at AT's Weather for that. If you don't have my weather app, AT's Weather to Go, make sure you pick that up. It's got the winter radar on it, and it's got access to everything else that we've talked about here tonight. And you can pull up this video on Facebook and watch it. You can share it with your friends and family and spread it around. So that's what I got for you. I'll tell you what, I've got a few minutes here. If you guys want to ask some questions, I'm going to pop this up on the phone and see if it works out pretty well. Nuclear bomb snowman. I don't know how much snow you're going to get. Oh, Jonathan wants to know DFW. Just some flurries down there. This storm really petered out over the last, couple of model runs, and there's just no moisture with it. So some flurries down there for Dallas-Fort Worth. Maybe a light dusting up around the northern counties up near the Red River. That's about all you're going to get for that area. Even Lubbock, at first it looked like maybe an inch or so in Lubbock, but even that may be a stretch. Maybe just that gradient, maybe just north of there. We're talking about a very thin corridor of snow. So when we see the visible satellite picture on how is it, Saturday morning with clear skies, we're going to be able to show you white on the map, and you're going to see how narrow this snow band is going to be. If you live in Tulsa, you're going to get some flurries. I doubt you'll even get enough for a dusting, but you'll at least get some snow on the ground that you'll see. That's about it. If you call that a dusting, hey, there you go. But I don't see anything more than that. Like I said, in Oklahoma City, it's going to range north side of town. Best guess at this point in time is probably going to be about a ½ inch. South side of town is going to be probably about 2 inches down around Norman, Newcastle, that kind of deal. And like I said, if we wake up in the morning and the models have adjusted the storm track just a hair, and that thin band moves a little bit, well, then those numbers will change. And like I said, the snow should start tomorrow evening here in the metro. Probably by 9 o'clock. Some flurries moving on in, if not a few flurries before then, and then some snow overnight. So any other storms on the horizon? Not as far as winter storms at this point in time, but things change pretty quickly. Southeast Oklahoma, you guys will have a little bit of snow down there. The bulk of your snow will move in Friday. Let's see, I think it's going to be right around, let's call it late morning, and then throughout the day. Let's see. Yeah, no school canceled for a dusting. Sarah, Western Oklahoma, yeah, we've got some snow for you guys, probably 2 to 3 inches common. And no, I don't foresee any school closings. That's not this kind of snowstorm. Like I said, it came in. I know some of you like the Facebook videos, which is great. Research shows everybody loves Facebook Live videos, so I started trying to do some more of these for you. And then I do that, and then I get some of you complaining, going, "Hey, I like the written discussions. I ain't got time for no video." All right, so I'm trying to please both crowds. So I wrote something earlier today, and that information really hasn't changed with this update. Even though we just looked at some fresh data that came in here a little while ago, it's basically the same gist from earlier, so check that out. And then Facebook does give me the ability, in some cases, to close caption this after the fact. So I'll enable that, and then I'll re-upload the video to my website, and I can close caption it that way through YouTube for the hearing impaired. So I kind of started doing that to see how that goes. Had a few of you comment that you liked it. How about Enid? Flurries to a dusting. I don't think I'll get more than a dusting up there. Friday night, all the snow's out of here. So we'll probably see skies clearing. My boy Nick says, "What's up?" Hello, Nick. Isaac, I missed Oklahoma City, Yukon area. Remember also, when this video ends, you can rewatch it from the beginning if you missed something. We go into detail about what's coming and break it down for you as to who's going to see what. Did I say what the wind will be like? No, I did not. And let me just pull that up here real quick while I got you on here. Let's see. Let's see. Do you think we'll see ice? No. This is a pure cold enough situation to where it's just going to be snow only, so we won't get any ice out of it. Let's see here. So the wind speeds. Let's see here. So tomorrow. All right. Tell you what. Let me switch back over to the deal. Somebody asked about the winds. I'm going to go ahead and throw that on there for you. Okay, so these are the wind barbs. They're 10 to 15 knots here for tomorrow afternoon. Remember, we're going to be in the mid-20s. So with that, let's see, wind chill values will be probably the single digits is my guess. Teens, yeah. Feels like 14 here in Oklahoma City tomorrow afternoon. So pretty chilly. Let's see, and the wind on Friday should be lighter. Let's take a look. And I'll get to some of your questions here in a minute. Can't do both at the same time. Yeah, really light winds on Friday. We're looking at 5 knots, so basically about 10 miles per hour on Friday or less. And then Saturday, they'll pretty much be dead quiet from a light southwest wind less than 5. So that's about it for that. Okay, so back to this we go. Will the snow melt on Saturday? No, it should be cold enough to where it'll hang. It will be a cold weekend, by the way. We're not going to warm up until Monday and Tuesday of next week. Actually should be fairly decent. Then we'll have another brief cold front coming after that. Let's see. Why do we rarely get snow anymore? Leslie. Snow actually is very difficult to get. I think sometimes we just getting spoiled with it, and that's why we. It seems like we have more in the past than we do today. Plus, your memory plays tricks on you anyway. Um, let's see. One of my friends is too embarrassed to say it, but he really would love if you said now to co-host. Yeah, I don't have any co-host opportunities right now. Hubby drives a truck from Fort Smith to Little Rock middle of the night. What do you think? No problem. Uh, Clayton Lawton prediction. Yeah, down there you're looking at about 2 to 3 inches of snow. Well, let me see. For Lawton, you might be just south of that heavy band. It'd probably be just to your north. So you could go back to the whole 1 to 2 inches there. But I did show the maps a minute ago in more detail, so you can rewatch and then just fast forward to the point to where I get to the snow maps and just look at what you want. Going to Norman next week. Never been to Oklahoma. Yeah, bring your coat and your shorts. I'm not kidding. It's not that cold in Oklahoma that long of our winter season. We have these days like was it? I forget. Was it Sunday? I've lost track of days. But man, it was gorgeous. And then maybe it was Monday. The next day it just ruined with the cold air that moves in. But you check out my app, AT's Weather to Go. It's got the 7-day forecast on there. Just plug in Norman, Oklahoma, and it'll tell you what you should be wearing just by the temperatures. A lot of folks down in Southwest Oklahoma all asking the same question. Yeah, you guys are gonna have some snow down there. Let's see. Let me pull this up. I was looking here offline. So Lawton, I mean, it's anywhere from 1, maybe 2 inches of snow. Again, it depends on that band because just to your north, so that grading's gonna be really sharp, just like in Oklahoma City. Like we're gonna have a dusting on the north side of town to 1.5 inches on the south side. You'll be no different. It'll be reversed for you. South side of dusting, north side 1.5 inches, kind of a deal. Again, this is all assuming this band doesn't move, by the way, which that's a big assumption. You know what they say about assumptions. Let's see. And for I think Altus was the next question. Same deal down there. Probably 1 or 2 inches. Nothing more than that should be. Let's see. Can you tell me how much snow we're supposed to get in Munich, Germany? Not tonight. But send me a private message if you really want to know, and I'll go dig up all that data. I charge a very small fee. Let's see. Any other questions here tonight, guys, for me? Other than the standard, how much snow is going to be at my house? I'd sit there and love to answer that all night long, but you ain't got time for that. We'd be here all night. Let's see. Tulsa, Robin, just some flurries up there. Nothing crazy. Ashley thinks the weather in Oklahoma is in the menopause state. No comment. Let's see. All right, looks like a lot of these are repeat questions over the same towns. That means a lot of you are just kind of joining in late, and we're repeating the same stuff over and over. So what I'm going to tell you for that is to go back and then just watch the video, fast forward where you get to the snow maps. It won't take you long. Just drag your cursor or whatever on your mouse on the screen, and then you can see the snow in your area. Now you have to know what county you live in. So that's the other thing, because Oklahoma, it's got 77 counties. Each county you live in, your city's going to be within that. So look at the shape of a map if you don't have one, Google Maps or something. If you don't know what the shape of your county is, go learn that, because you're going to need that anyway for severe weather season and on these maps. Then you can kind of get close to where you live. And keep in mind, snow is a broad brush thing. It's not an exact pinpoint. At this certain spot, you're going to get X amount of inches guaranteed, and the spot, 5 miles to the east will get exactly this much. It's not that accurate. It can't be. Whitney, appreciate the compliment. Doris is watching in Las Vegas. All right. Throw something down the craps table for me, Doris. Let's make us some money tonight. Let's see. Sarah, no melting on this time around. Chad, thanks for the compliment. Cold air, Arctic air. Yeah, we get a reinforcing shot here this week and into the weekend. And then we get a break for a couple of days. And then it looks like the bulk of the Arctic air for the next wave will actually move off to the eastern part of the country for later next week. So we kind of only get a glancing blow. And then the computer models have done a complete flip for the middle part of January. At first, they were just bone-chilling cold. Now they're like, it's not so bad. We're going to warm up, be a little mild. I'm leery of that. That's a huge flip, and there's a lot of teleconnections that argue against that. It's a complicated forecasting weather is complicated in the long term, much less even the short term. Let's see. Any more here? All right. Oh, and by the way, if you've noticed, if you have some time and you open up my app, take a look at Road Angel, Roadside Assistance Service, and if it's something that would interest you, just sign up, try it out. You can do month to month. It's real cheap. And if you have a breakdown, your vehicle, something happens to you on the side of the road here in the wintertime, you got no problem at all. They'll come to your rescue, GPS based, and bring you anything you need. If it's water, coolant, a battery, you need to get your car towed, you need to get locked out, you lost your keys, all that kind of stuff. They'll help you out. So I think that's about it. All right, everyone. Well, it's getting close to 10 o'clock. If you're going to watch the weather tonight on the local news, I just saved you another 30 minutes of your time. You can thank me later. All right, that's it, everybody. Appreciate your time tonight and for watching AT's weather. I may do like a little quick map update tomorrow in the lunchtime area if it looks like things are significantly changed. If not, I may just post some text. And then tomorrow evening, again, if things looking good, I may do a quick Facebook Live. Not quite sure yet, but I like doing these if I've got the time. So we'll just have to play it by ear. But that's going to be about it. So have a great night, everyone.